Hey guys, what's happening? Thought I'd pop on here and give you guys a little bit of an update. I know there's been a lot of stuff going on as far as like earthquakes and stuff like that. And you guys know I'm not the earthquake guy, but I do think that space weather does affect it. I think there's a lot of evidence and a lot of actually factual data now that they've researched a lot of this. They're just trying to incorporate it now into earthquake forecasting. And yeah, so I am going to go ahead and just jump into it like I promised you guys I would at the beginning, and we will move on from there. Let me check, make sure the stream is okay real quick, and I think we're good. Are we 5 for 5 in there, guys? Just so I know. I think we are, but somebody throw me a 5 for 5 and we'll get going on there. Beef stew? Heck yeah. I like some beef stew. Hey, Joanna. Becca, good to see you. Ripper, you the man. All right, stuffed linen. That's an interesting name. All right, 5 for 5. All right, thanks, Emperor. Appreciate you guys. You too, Becca. All right, so here we go. Yeah, guys, check it out. We've got some X-rays. We did have a couple flares right here. These flares are coming from some pretty decent sized sunspots that are like right in front of us. If these sunspots decide to go ahead and just like completely erupt, we could have some issues. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of complexity now with these sunspots, and I'll show this to you here in just a second. But because of that lack of complexity and lack of energy in them, well, there's enough energy there. They just got to have the right dynamics inside the sunspots and placement in order for it to flare. But yeah. So anyway, let's check this out. So we got the proton flux also. The proton flux, guys, this is what we look at for radiation storms. There's no radiation storms or anything like that. We did have an unexpected geomagnetic storm yesterday. Well, I reported on it yesterday. It was back on I believe it was on the 7th is when it happened. It only got into like KP of 5. So yeah, that happened. And what caused it? Well, it was a coronal hole stream and a couple other things that were kind of involved there. And I went over all that before, so if you guys want to know about that, just kind of go back and watch my last upload, my last live stream. I know I haven't, I've been trying to keep everything kind of short and concise. I hope I'm doing well with that, guys. I really am trying to do everything like that so you guys don't have to, those that just want to come in here for the space weather, just the report and stuff. I hope I'm able to do that for you guys. So if you guys could go ahead and please share the stream too, that really helps me. That's the best thing you guys can do for me is share the stream and hit the like button, obviously, but or just be here. It's cool. Hit the notification bell. But other than that, yeah, it's about the extent of what we can do here as far as getting the word out. But I would appreciate it if you guys would do that. Now, check out the sunspots here. These things are right in front of us. And I'm going to show you guys these on a different view also with the colorized version of this. And it shows you the polarity of the magnetism and where they're at and where it's located. So we'll take a look at that here in just a second. But this is GOES 16. Is it 16? Yeah, 16. This is their extreme ultraviolet capture of the sun. This is the 195 angstrom, I believe. Yep. And they could assign this any color that they wanted, but this is just looking at a specific gas on the sun. And it gives us different visuals so we can kind of understand this a little bit better. So, that is what it is. And we'll look at some more here in a minute. But there's not a whole lot we can really tell from this one right now. Now, you guys do see these kind of darker shadows. Sometimes what happens, guys, is the coronal holes start to open up. And depending on what angstrom of light we're looking at, the holes might not look that impressive, or you might not even see them at all. You just have to be looking in with the right extreme ultraviolet filter on the camera. So, when you start seeing them like this shape right here, those are typically, like especially on this angstrom, it's a good way to say, hey, look, there might be a coronal hole getting ready to open up there. Not a hole on the sun, just a hole in its atmosphere, the corona. But when we see these big lines going across, these are what we call filaments typically. And they can be canyons of, the term now a lot of people are using, and I've used it a few times. I don't really like the term, like canyon of fire is what they call it. And the reason why is because it's not fire, guys. The sun's not on fire. People think that. It's not. It's not. It's just simply not the case. There is no oxygen up here burning. You gotta, what do you gotta have for fire? Well, you gotta have some oxygen for fire. How do you put a fire out? You snuff out the oxygen, right? It is the fuel source for fire. That's oxygen. So you got to have that, right? So if there's no oxygen, you ain't gonna be burning anything. I mean, you can burn things, but you're not burning it with fire. So anyway, not how we look at it anyway. But this is more of it's a fusion process, guys. Very much like our big boom booms that we use down here on our planet. That might end up turning us into one of these big glowing balls one of these days. But anyway, just to explain that a little bit, I like to hit on that every once in a while because that is a typical thing that most people think, and I thought that too. And I remember being in school and somebody telling me that the sun wasn't on fire, and I thought, man, that guy's an idiot. And come to find out, well, I'm the idiot because. Yeah. But anyway, I'm also trying to, at the advice of my friend Adam over at Mark Fugel, I'm trying to cut out the ums. Everybody has those transition words. We all fall back onto some words as we're talking in front of people. And when we do that, we're trying to think of our next thing to say. Or you're just trying to remember something to try to bring you back to center. And see, right there. Now, doing it every once in a while isn't that big of a deal. Most people do it a lot, especially when they're not used to speaking in front of people. So I'm trying to kind of cut down on that because I know it's kind of annoying when people get up here and start doing stuff like that. So I am working on that, guys. I'm trying to make it a little bit better for you guys, so you guys can enjoy the content a little bit more. Because I'm one that says this, guys. If you're not being entertained at all, you're not going to stick around and watch this stuff. I don't care what kind of information people are showing you. If it's done in a non-entertaining way at all, most people aren't going to watch. And I hate to say it like that, but that's just a simple fact. I know I don't watch channels that are just like flatline, monotone, just whoa, 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 whoa. Right? So that's why I try to up the production value as far as what you guys are actually looking at, the quality of it, the thumbnails, all that stuff. So, but this is the HP. This is the same thing. This is a global reading, okay? And it is giving us the same reading as the KP. It's just these are 3-hour plots, and this is a 30. Okay, 30 minutes. So we're getting one data point every 30 minutes here. And you're getting 60 minute here. Now, these are global readings. So that's what this is trying to show you. It's a global thing here. And I point that out because that's important to know. But they show the KP here also. See? So this is just a really good site that actually I was watching Tam at the Scove, and she used this site. It's a German. It's a GFZ, German Research Center for Geosciences. And they've got a lot of different things here, guys. So you guys can go over here and check out all their tools. I really do encourage everybody to check out all these things, because you're not really gonna learn it unless you do. You know what I mean? Hey, Jackson, good to see you. Hey, there's Tommy. Good to see you guys. But there's that link. So, well, thank you, SG. I appreciate you. I really do. You guys are awesome. Okay, so this is the solar wind data, or the space weather conditions, I should say. That's a better way to say it. Now, if you look here on the Discover data, guys, I used to show you guys this one, and it's still valid. It's just not as easy to read and easy to talk about. It's showing you the same kind of data, okay? But looking at this and looking at that is two different things, in my opinion. Because here you can just take and scroll across and you'll be able to see what the actual data is in these boxes. Right down to the minute, the day, the time, right there. Just as you hover over it, you can go back and forth and it tells you. You don't get that over here. Okay? So you're trying to look at the key over here. Now I want to point something out though here on this one. You see this right here? This is the density. The range over here is typically 1 to 10. That's the whole range. Right now it's sitting at 1 and 1,000. You know what that means? That means at some point this thing picked up a data point that was above 100 and then between 100 and 1,000. Okay, I'm seeing an orange dot right there, and that might be it, but that's over 100 in density. Now I don't think it got that high. I think that's probably a misread here, and so if I show you here, you're not seeing anything close to that on the density over here on Discover, right? So that's how you kind of confirm those things. Now, one could be right, one could be wrong, or they both can be right and wrong. But what we're looking at here, I think this is just easier to show you guys. So, but the density here, guys, is pretty low. Okay? 4 is considered normal. And that's centimeters cubed. If you guys wanted to know, just look over here, it'll tell you. Now here's the phi angle. The phi angle is the polarity of the solar wind itself. Remember, it's a plasma, and plasma is charged gas. So it has a polarity, positive, negative. So that quite often it will flip polarity. And when it does that on this particular model here, it will show you it goes from blue to that reddish color, pink or what have you. And when it does that, sometimes it'll jerk on our magnetosphere, our magnetic field, and it will really, sometimes it can give us a pretty good jolt. And that can actually put you into a geomagnetic storm. Although typically when it does that like that, it's very short-lived unless we get hit with something right behind it. Now, in like a perfect storm condition, you get hit with solar wind or from a CME or whatever you're getting hit with, space weather at the time, and the phi angle flips at the same time, that can really intensify things. Plus, if the BZ here, and I've talked about this 1,000 times, when the BZ is at -6 or more, we're really opened up to taking hits and letting your space weather in fairly easy. Okay? But as you can see here, guys, the speed, it's slow too. Now, I will say that you've seen a little bit of a jump, okay? Very variable here. It got up to like 538 right there. And it was down to right around 300, okay? So 300 to 500 is what we would consider normal conditions. But just the solar wind speed itself, unless it's way high, isn't really going to do much for you, okay? You have to have all these other conditions happening at the same time. A solar wind speed of 500 with nothing else out of the ordinary isn't going to do anything. Okay, you're not even going to notice it. It might jack up the geomagnetism a little bit, but in no way, shape, or form is it going to put you into a storm. So, and here's also the temperature. I usually don't talk a whole lot about the temperature because this moves when everything else moves. Okay, so if I'm telling you all this stuff up here is moving, it should be assumed that the temperature is going to be rising or lowering depending on what we're talking about. That's why I don't mention it a whole lot. And I know that people kind of give me heck for that sometimes, but, it is what it is. Aurora, not even going to waste your time showing you this. I'm not going to run the model or nothing because there is no aurora happening. And there is no geomagnetism. So if we go back to here for a second, just so I can touch on that, you see these other data points? we're now up 9 hours at 0 on the KP. What that means is we have almost no geomagnetic activity hanging around. And, you know, that can, if that's an extended period of time, like upwards of 24 hours or more, yeah, that can be an issue too. Because then we don't have enough geomagnetism in our atmosphere to kind of help fend off cosmic rays. You know, you guys have heard me say the sun protects us from the sun. Well, that's kind of one of the ways that it does it. We have to strike a balance. Just like everything else in this world and in your life, in your mind, anything that you're doing, you have to have a balance. You can't have all or nothing all the time, right? You're trying to find that perfect point. And that's exactly what we do with geomagnetism, if you want to look at it from that kind of a perspective. So when we're at about a 3, that's about perfect for us. That means that we've got some geomagnetism, we've got some space weather affecting our system a little bit, but it's there and it's not really affecting us here on the surface, but it's also helping defend against cosmic rays, which in mass doses of cosmic rays during slow periods like solar minimum, cosmic rays become an issue, okay? Because during solar minimum, our sun is not that active, right? So we don't have as much geomagnetism hanging around on a day-to-day basis. I've shown you guys 3 days in a row of nothing but 0 or 1 on the KP. And even longer than that. So when that happens, people that are flying high altitude and high latitudes up towards the poles, whichever direction you want to go there, it's just like taking an x-ray, guys. And they have really done a lot of research now on x-rays and things like that. And our health is, you know, they won't even do x-rays on your, if you guys have kids and you guys say they get sick or whatever and it's on the weekend and you can't take them to the doctor. Okay, what do? Well, you got to take them out to the hospital, right? You walk in the hospital with your kids now and say they hurt their arm or what have you. If it's not something they think might need surgery, they're not going to x-ray that arm. They don't want to do it because they know that in a young child, even, you know, over exposure to x-rays is very, very dangerous, especially for our kids' reproductive organs, okay? That really does affect that. Now, a person that's pregnant and flying, they don't want you flying if we're under these kinds of conditions. Pilots now, I believe they're actually required to look at this now. I know that they all pretty much did anyway, but people that fly, captains, the cabin crew like stewardess and things like that, prenatal passengers, which would be pregnant women, yeah, they really have to pay attention to this when our KP is in the basement for you know, a good amount of time, because it starts letting these cosmic rays in, and that stuff is really dangerous. It's as if they took an x-ray. So, and we all, I think most of us understand that they don't want to x-ray a pregnant woman either unless they have to. It's just not good. You know, you're introducing radiation that doesn't need to be there or isn't supposed to be there. So that's why I talk about this, okay? I haven't explained that in a minute. I really wanted to explain that to you guys because it's important, because as we come out of solar minimum into solar maximum, sometimes we forget that this is actually a thing, right? Because we've had geomagnetism hanging around now for months, I mean years now almost, and that's what it's supposed to do. But this is why I talk about the sun can do what it wants, when it wants, and how it wants, and the sun protects us from the sun. We have to have a balance there. I know that was kind of long-winded, but I think it needed to be, to explain that to everybody. I hope you guys understood what I said. I hope I put that out there forward enough and in terms that you can. If I didn't, I apologize. Maybe I'll get better at it. Don't know. Anyway, this is our geoelectric field, right? And I've been showing you guys this a lot, and I'm going to show it to you now because of USGS, earthquakes. We've had a lot of big earthquakes, guys. Now I have to give props where props are due, okay? a lot of earthquake channels were talking about this happening before it happened. So they need props for that. Ron, if Ron's in here, I haven't looked at the chat. Ron, I know you were talking about it. I know Dutch was talking about it, and lots of other people, right? It was, earthquake people that were paying attention. And again, I can't point you guys towards any kind of earthquakes or anything like that. It's just not my bag of tricks, right? It's for people like Ron and Dutch and everybody else that understands it way better than I do. I think Ben over at Suspicious Observers does it too. I think he uses he calls it a blot echo or something like that. I don't even know what that means. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't even know what that means. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I do. I'm not going to, oh, hey, we had this, that, and there right here on this point. We had that happen. And then kind of like breeze right by it and act like I know something that I don't. I'm not going to do that to you guys. So, yeah, if you want earthquake information, go to those guys. Okay, they're good at it. They really are. Whatever system they're using, whatever models or data they're using to forecast these things, they're getting really good at it. All of them. And I have to say, honestly. So, yeah. So the geoelectric field is the, excuse me, I'm sorry. It is, it's the field on the surface of the earth, okay? It's the conditions of the geoelectric field on the surface, right? So when that thing's happening, we get, when we're getting an uptick here, we pay attention to it because it can affect earthquakes and how many, the intensification of them, all of that. And they're just now tying all this stuff together. They've tied it together for years and years. But now they're starting to do it formally here, and they're trying to come up with, I would assume, some sort of model of forecasting these things, a better one than what they have now. I think that's kind of what the goal is. Now, how long it's going to take, who knows? Okay, and like I said, guys, they're already getting fairly good at it without, just pointing directly and stuff like this. And I have to say, guys, I want to point out that there's not just one factor when earthquakes happen. Okay, that's one thing I do know. I can sit here and show you space weather all day long, but I'm never going to come on here and say, hey, this is exactly the only thing that caused this earthquake, because it just simply would not be the case. So, yeah. Well, thank you, Trish. I appreciate that. Really do. But this is trying to show you the conditions at the surface and how space weather affects our artificial electrical components like transformers and wires, the switches on your wall, our grid, all of it, guys. Anything that's not, natural, that's what this is showing you. The effects of space weather on that, because it's affecting the field at the surface. So things are getting induced into our system. And like I said, guys, energy in 100% means energy out at some point in time. That is just simple physics. It's there on everything that you do. If you've got energy coming one direction, it's got to go somewhere else. Okay? Something else, So I'm not going to get into all that, all of why and who said what, what scientists figured that out, and Newton and all this stuff, right? We're not getting into all that. Einstein. You guys want to have those big discussions, it's not for here, or at least not right now. I would have that discussion. I could tell you, I could teach you guys, or at least show you guys what I think is what's the truth. And, but anyway. So, because we talked about earthquakes, let me go ahead and show you guys this first. Now, this is something that is just, I know they were forecasting, guys. I know they were forecasting an uptick. But this was something that was just like, what in the world? Okay? So, I popped on here last night, and the first thing I thought is, oh my gosh, number one, they were right. Number two, when's it going to stop? I mean, if you go up here to when it was happening, look at all these red ones, okay? And what's significant about this, guys, it wasn't just in one area of the world. I mean, it was spanning the globe here, okay? This is the last 7 days, 4.5 or bigger. That's what you're looking at when you're looking at this map. So we had this one over here, Mexico, 6-1. Obviously, we had the big 7 down here in Fiji, okay? Plus, you know, a 6-6 here, another 6-8 here. This is a really good way to show you too. Look, see the 6-8? Everybody probably thought when that first popped off, that was probably the main quake. No, that was a foreshock to that one. Okay, so yeah, and then you started getting the aftershocks, right? So just know that. Now that happened down here in Fiji. Now then you had the one in Nepal, right there. Okay. And these are decent sized ones, guys. I mean, yeah. And then Italy. Okay. Now I know everybody's like, oh my gosh, look at that red box. Well, that's the shake box. It's showing you how far out that was felt. And because that was pretty much a surface quake, see where it says 10 kilometers? That is a default. Okay. When over here on USGS, when a quake pops off and it first gets reported, almost all of them will say 10 kilometers deep. And then after a few minutes, they'll come back and say, hey, it was this deep. They haven't changed this one, and it's been quite some time now. So my guess is this was a surface quake. And with that being said, that means that you're probably going to feel it in a wider area. Okay? It probably spread out. People were feeling it all over the place. So, and again, I'm not going to go into all that because I just am not the person to do that for you guys. But there was quite a bit of them, guys. So, and I do know that space weather affects it, okay? And that's why I even bring it to you guys, because once they figure it out completely, you know, this is going to be a part of it, all right? So, let's go over here. I'm going to show you these sun divers. These things are blowing my mind. That's all I can say. I'm not even kidding. These things are blowing my mind. So, what I'm going to do, let's just go here and then go here. I'm going to go back to the 29th, and I'm going to start here, and I'm going to show you guys all these sun divers. Now, where are they coming from? That's probably the next question, right? So, here's 1, 2 right there. Okay, watch where my cursor is. I'll zoom in a little bit more here so we can get a better look. Okay, you're going to see 2 of them here. Right there and there. Okay. So it's coming from the Crits. They're called Crits Comets. And it's from they're fragments from a larger comet that broke up centuries ago. Okay. I mean, a long time ago, this comet broke up into it fragmented. And so what you're seeing is all this stuff coming in. Now, this is fairly rare to have this many in this short amount of time. We expect to see some of this stuff because this satellite, SOHO, that sits right out in front of the Earth, about 1 million miles closer to the sun, this thing has picked up thousands of sun divers and sun grazers. What's the difference? A diver means it's going right for the surface. A grazer means it gets close enough that the sun has a gravitational effect on it, and it slingshots it back out into space. Keeps it in an orbit. Okay? Now, most of these sun divers will not ever make it to the surface. They get burned up way before they get there. Okay? And that's what's happening with these too. Now, there's been some in the past they were so big and so photogenic just because the angle you had to look at it. They looked really, really big. I mean, I'll have to go back and find some for you guys and show it to you on my next show. Because, I mean, they would actually, see my cursor here? You could literally see it loop. And it would stay. You could see the tail from one side of the screen to the other. Not fading off like that did. I'm talking like very, very like in your face. So anyway, that's 2 on the 29th. Let's go to the 30th. I don't think there was anything on the 30th, but we'll look at it anyway. Yep, no sun divers here. Now, I know everybody comes here and looks, right? This bottom half. But guess what, guys? They come from up here, too. It's just nobody, we don't typically see them there because of the position of the satellite. A lot of them do come from down here. But, yeah. Could a huge asteroid or comet take out the sun? No, I don't believe so. Not anything that wouldn't take us out first, I would think. Because first off, the sun's not it isn't a rock. It's plasma. So we have to keep that in mind. The equatorial regions of the sun actually rotate faster than the north and south poles of the sun. So it kind of pulls everything horizontal, including the sunspots, and that's why the sunspots are in the locations that they are. But as far as something taking the sun out, no, I don't think that would. It would take something so huge, it would be crazy. I would think if something that big got even close to us, it would. Yeah, we wouldn't even have a chance to have any kind of anything. How many millions of degrees is the sun? I really don't know how hot the sun is. That's a good question. I don't know how hot it's supposed to be. This is on the 31st, Halloween night. Let's see if we see any. I think there was one. And again, I could be wrong on the days here. Yeah, there wasn't nothing there. We'll go to the first. And when I get to the ones here, as we get closer to our current date, they do get bigger. And they become a lot more photogenic, and they're easy to see. This is the second. Don't really see a whole lot there either. Okay. This is the third. And I counted them earlier. It was like 6 or 7. Did you guys see that? I know that was so faint, but there was one right there. Okay. And I'll try to show it to you here. Dummy. Let's run through here again. I'll try to pause. Yep. Okay. It came through here. Okay. Let me, it's going to be so hard to show you guys that one. Okay. You see this right here? I know it's hard to see, but that's a comet. That's a sun diver. Okay. It's just in a position that we can't really see it all that well. So let me back it up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. See how it stays on that line? So if I go next, see how it's going towards the sun right here? That thing definitely dove in. Now, again, it most likely it did not make it to the sun. That thing there got burned up way before. So let's go to the next day. This is the 4th. Sorry guys, my mouth's getting really, really dry today, so I'm kind of sipping on some Mountain Dew here. This is the 5th. And there is a couple days in here where there aren't any comets going anywhere here, okay? This is the 6th. Okay, so here's another really photogenic one, okay? Now, obviously, that is definitely one of the bigger ones that I've shown you guys so far, right? So, I'll pause it, okay? Now, guys, when you're looking at this coronagraph, that's just a shadow, okay? The black line there. So don't think it's like two separate things there. When this thing is showing you anything at all, the hotter the image is, it'll show in white, and the colder it is, it shows it in a darker color like black. That's kind of crazy, isn't it, Amy? But the one I'm going to show you here on the end is actually bigger. So, it's, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So let's slow it down a little bit. Let's go back a little. Oops. Had it going the wrong way. Okay. Here we go. It's coming. Right about there. Okay. So, yeah. So there's that one. Let's go to the next day, which would be, the, I believe, the 7th, right? Yep. 7th. There's one. Notice how they're all kind of the same size now? Okay. Yeah, I mean, these are days in a row, guys. It's crazy to me. We don't usually see it like this. This is why I'm bringing it to you like this. So you guys have seen me show you like 1 or 2 in a week. We're talking 6 or 7 in a week. I put 6, and I was being conservative on that number. There was probably more like 8 or 9. So here's the 8th. I don't know if there was anything on the 8th. I don't think there was. So if we go here on the 9th, okay, check that one out. This is the biggest one. There's a little one, okay? Here's the bigger one. So let me back this up. I want to show you guys the other one first. Right here. Okay, so here comes the bigger one. I'm going to slow it down to sit play. How about that? Okay, so that definitely was the biggest one. Yeah. It is cool, isn't it, Major? I think so too. You know, and like I said, that one there, actually, you can tell it made it in there quite far because it got past the occulter. Okay? Watch it get inside that occulter. See that? When it does that, you have to know that that is substantial. That's a substantial sized comet. All right, I'm calling it a sun-diving comet. It could be an asteroid, but it's come from the, like I said, the Koretz comets. So I know where these are coming from. That's why I'm calling it that. But asteroids would produce, they actually look almost exactly the same. Because what's happening is, you know, like our magnetic field's deflecting against all the solar wind. These things don't have that protection. So when we're talking about that here, that's kind of what we're talking about. I know the Earth's way further away than what these things are to the sun, but essentially, if our magnetic field wasn't there, that's what you would. Now, let me say this too. You know Venus's nickname, right? They call it the comet planet. Why? Because a lot of times when you look at it through a telescope or through one of these coronagraphs, it'll look like a comet. It has a tail. Because of what I just said. So, yeah. But I just thought that was really cool. You know, I really did. I thought that was just really, really neat to see. And I'm just going to say it. I bet we're going to see more in the next week. Probably see more tomorrow. You know, and there's going to be some on here that we don't see also. You know, the satellite and the people that are running the satellite, they might see it, but we won't, you know, because they might be small, it might only be there for a second, all those kinds of things, right? But I just thought that was cool. Thought you guys would like to see that because, and I know I get a lot of questions about this too. Can those comets induce something from the sun? Yes, they can. Okay, I've shown people before, you know, this thing came in on this side of the sun, and there's been quite a few times things have happened when these things dive in here. Okay. You know, and again, like I said, guys, these are not like little pebbles. These are decent sized objects. Okay. I'm not really sure if they have much of a magnetic field, if anything at all. Or, you know, that's a good thing I need to research. If very many of them have magnetic fields, because they can. I would assume that it's a possibility that they could. You know, I don't know for sure. It's so yeah. Now, you guys got any questions for me? That's pretty much the end of the space weather stuff. Hey, drop a deuce. What time is it? Let's see here. How long have I been going? About 40 minutes. That ain't too bad. Yeah. So, but yeah, guys. Throw a question at me if you got it, and I'll try to answer it. Now, I will say this, guys. I went outside and I watched the solar eclipse or the lunar eclipse the other night. That was some cool stuff, man. I got lucky enough where I'm at that it was clear as a bell. It was really cool to watch. I hadn't watched one in quite some time, and that was it was neat, really neat to see. Hey, Sydney. Not the size of the suns. Wonder what you're talking about there. Back and read. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, DD. For sure. Well, thank you, Stuff Lennon. Appreciate you. Major. Oh, magnetic field. Let's see if I got something here. I'm under. I don't want to say something I'm not sure of. Oh, the size of the sun's magnetic field. It's big. That's just what I'll say. It's big. And it's very, very variable too. Ours is too, but okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, they absolutely can, but don't say that to a NASA employee. They do have a magnetic field. It's weak. Okay. Yeah, so you know, again, it's probably so weak it doesn't really affect a whole lot. But yeah, it probably does have one. That's kind of what I thought. Thank you though for putting that in there. Yeah, me too, Cody. I'm glad you are too, man. I mean, that's you know, I was yeah, I fought that too. I really did, and it sucks. It did suck. Hey, Cindy, what's up? Next one in 2025. All right, we'll write that down. Okay, is it true that we won't have a lunar eclipse for another 2.5 years? Not the same one. I'd have to go look. Now, guys, listen. Lunar eclipses and any kind of eclipse, they're very, very predictable. Okay? If you just type it in, when's the next lunar eclipse? You know what? We can do that. Why don't we just do that? You guys want to do that? Next. Oops. There it is. Let's see here. Lunar eclipse 2023, when and where and how to see them. So there's a lot of different sites you can go to. Here's a NASA site. We can go here and look at this one. Obviously, that's the one that just happened. With the next occurring March 14th, 2025. Though we will continue to see partial and penumbral lunar eclipses during that time. Basically, what they're saying is we won't have another full one, just like the one we just seen, for another, yeah, about another 3 years. But there are going to be some partial ones, okay? And it does very much matter where you're at on our planet. So yeah. So I mean, these are all good things to go read, guys. It tells you how to best way to observe it and everything. Um, so yeah. So if you guys just here, I tell you what, here I'll put this in the put this link here. In the chat. There you go. Hey Marie, good to see you. Tommy, you would have had a great view if it wasn't cloudy for you out there, man, during that eclipse. I'm pretty sure it was cloudy out there. Thanks, Beck. I appreciate you. Hey, Mr. Dragon, good to see you. Hey, what's up, V? Hope you're doing okay. I've been praying for you and your daughter. Have to watch the episode over again. Well, thank you, Trish. I appreciate you. I really do. Marf is going to be going live here also. Guys, Marf will be going live here. What time is it? I know what time it is. About 9:16. He'll be going live here probably roughly in about an hour, somewhere in that time frame. Guys, go check him out over here on Marfugal. Good stuff always. It's really cool stuff. Same kind of, most of you guys already know Marf, but I'm going to say it because he needs that help just like everybody else. We can't forget that, and oftentimes we do. Channels that are bigger than us, we assume everybody already knows them. That's not always the case, okay? So just understand that, because it is what it is, So let's do this too. I'll tell you what I'll do. Not sure if I haven't seen a notification come through yet. Let's see. Yeah, he's not posted it yet. Let's do this real quick. Let's go down here. I'm going to show you Tommy and I's second channel. This is the Lifeboat. For those that don't know, this is an addiction recovery channel. Not to mention it's a family. We really do. Hey, Ron, drop your link. Ron does earthquake stuff, guys. Go check him out. Emergency Management Associates. He does a good job over there. Verte's in here too. But guys, yeah, this is second channel that I'm really passionate about this, and Tommy shares my passion for this. He's out front doing most of the talking, and he's who you'll see on screen. But I'm there all the time also. I do talk, but I don't, as much. And it's a live call-in show. And, we've been doing some really good shows. We've had a lot of good, it ain't even really about the show. It's about getting people help. We get people help. And that's a fact. There's no doubt about it. We get people into rehabs and all this other kind of stuff. So, and we're there for them. We're there for them just to vent if they want. If you're drunk, if you're high, all you gotta do is come on over. We ain't gonna kick you out. That's 100% factual right there. So, just understand that. Now, 2 days ago, they seized 796,000 fentanyl pills at the border in one bust. That was 2 days ago. Plus, I can't remember, it was like 250 pounds of powder. I'm telling you guys, when they were, I know everybody's talking about the election and stuff. Hey, Raven, good to see you. Amy, good to see you too. So when we're seeing that, we got to understand what's going on. Stuff's coming in through there. But during, yesterday was obviously election day, right? I can't tell you how many times they would go over to some of the people where they were like doing the interviews and stuff, like in the restaurants and before the election was, or during voting. And they would ask them, what's the most important subject to you? And there was quite a few of them that said our border because of fentanyl. My chin about hit the floor. Because before, this is something me and Tommy's been screaming for almost 2 years now. Even before that, before we even had channel. So, this is something that's, it's finally starting to surface out. And people are starting to realize how big of a problem this is. Yes, 300 overdoses a day. And, at 300 deaths. Not just overdoses. He's saying deaths. Death from overdose. And you know, it's a huge problem, guys. You know, and they're doing a lot of different things. But yeah, hey Trinity, you guys got to go check her channel out too. See, guys, I consider this is why I saved it for the end because people were giving me such a hard time. I think I've been doing a pretty good job with that too. But you know, I got so many great channels, got so many great friends here, and I would push you guys to everybody's channel. I really would. I'm not gonna tell you guys to go to somebody's channel I wouldn't go to personally. And right back at you, Trinity. Right back at you. Joanna, what's up? So, guys, I mean, and again, guys, you have to understand that, you know, it's a big problem. It really, truly is. So, you know, you guys can scroll down through here. We can go through the video list here. And I shared a lot of my own personal struggles over here also. Okay. If I go to the live feeds, this is the live streams we've done. I mean, there's just tons and tons of them. But one thing you'll get when you come over there is an immediate welcome and an immediate love. That's just what happens. People love you before you get there, and that's a promise. And that's what we do over there. And so just understand that there ain't no judgment. And that's one of the biggest things that we fight as people that are in recovery is that judgment. We got to get past that. And some of getting past that lies with us. A lot of it does. Right? We can't be so overcritical of people because they're saying, well, you know, you guys were this, that, or the other. Well, there's reasons why they say that. What we have to do is we have to show them through our actions that we are not those people. And like SG said, it's all connection. We have to have that connection. That is the biggest enemy of addiction is connection. If everybody's talking to one another, guess what? Drugs ain't got nowhere to hide. They're there. We're going to see it. We're going to see it for what they actually are. So just understand that. And yeah. And again, guys, you know, I fought it. I fought it for quite some time, and you know, I've been sober for 11 years, and I got a great support system, and not everybody has that, and that's why the Lifeboat's so important to so many people, and that's what we do over here, guys. So come check us out. All right, but I am going to go ahead and pop off here, guys. Hopefully you guys will come over here to Marf's channel, Marfugal News. I'm going to go ahead and show you that too, and we'll drop a link there too. Let's do it here. He's going live on Marfugal TV tonight. Yeah. So this is his channel, guys. Once he gets it posted, obviously, go over there. But even before, go over and check out some of his videos. Really cool stuff. He sources everything and he puts everything in a list. Okay. That's just what he does. So it's there for you guys to go look at yourself. And I think that's the best way to do things. So, but anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and pop off. So, God bless. Oh, that's right. He was sick, wasn't he? Oh, man, I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me, SG. Yeah, I forgot that he was feeling under the weather. Forgot about that. But thank you, guys. Oh, thank you, Ron. Go check out Ron's show too, guys. And again, guys, I literally could sit here and just start shouting people out, and I would be here for an hour. I promise. No joke. Not even a half a joke. You know, so when people say that it's all negativity on this platform, well, let me tell you something. It might be negative where you're going, but I found some really good positive people, and that's who I'm with. I promise you. I'm not going to be around all that negativity. I can't handle it. No drama, none of it. Save the drama for your mama. I mean, I actually live by that, so. Hey, Cindy Lou. Yep. Yeah. Hey. There you go, Steven. Come over and check us out. we're on the lifeboat, I'm telling you, alcohol is one of the biggest addictions to beat. It really is. It's one of the most dangerous too. You have to consult your doctor when you're trying to beat alcohol. You have to. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's what you got to do. Alcohol is horrible. Yeah. That can be tough too, Chewy. Come over here, check us out. I promise you guys. I mean, honestly, what's it going to hurt to come check it out? I shared my addiction story and how I became addicted and got into recovery. I even shared my bouts with mental depression and suicide. Okay, all those shows are over there. They're there. So if you want to know a little bit more about me, that's a good way to do it. But again, you're not going to get judged. I promise. I can't tell you how many people have come over there and just completely blitzed in our chat, and we don't kick them out of there. We try to get them help. And typically we'll be talking to them right after the stream because we give them contact information. Well, thank you, Brittany. Appreciate you. And, and it is. And a lot of people you guys see here, a lot of the mods here, SG's over there. Ripper been there since almost the beginning. Rip Girl. Trinity's over there a lot. There's the Major's over there. Joanna's over there. If I miss anybody, I'm sorry. I'm not going to try to say everybody's name there. But I am going to go ahead and pop off, guys. I got real life happening right now, so I do have to go. So, anyway, guys, God bless. Yahusha saves. And, yeah. You can drink this Kool-Aid.